That car you drive could be a ticking time bomb, and you might not find out it has a serious problem until it's too late. That's because you live in Tennessee. Consumer investigator Jennifer Krause found while Tennessee drivers receive some vehicle safety recalls, we don't get all of them. Is that true?
Yes, hard to believe.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think we would be warned every time there's a potential problem with our cars, but here in Tennessee, we are not. And if you're wondering, how can this be? You're not alone.
Then I heard a loud pop.
Vianne Lawler was driving home from work when suddenly she couldn't control her car. She thought she was going to crash.
I was very scared.
This is what caused that loud pop. And it just snapped?
Yep.
Her husband, Ron, showed us the rear suspension control arm from Vianne's Jeep Liberty. That's serious corrosion.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't until he was looking up repairs online that he discovered the part had been recalled by Chrysler. According to the recall notice, it can corrode and break without warning, causing a loss of vehicle control, which the auto manufacturer warned can lead to a crash. Do you think you should have known about this recall?
Oh, yeah.
But the Lawlers never got a recall notice. It turns out Chrysler only sent them to Jeep owners in 20 states, and Tennessee wasn't one of them. It was what's known in the auto industry as a regional recall, and these sorts of recalls most often have something to do with some sort of weather condition, generally snow and ice. But we found if you live in Tennessee, you are missing out on a lot of these recalls because cars here generally are not covered by them. So vehicle owners are never warned about these potential problems.
People are being killed and injured by defects in states that are not covered.
Clarence Ditlow, an auto safety watchdog in Washington, D.C., believes in the interest of safety, every recall should be a national recall. But automakers, he says, prefer regional or limited recalls because it saves them money.
The bottom line is they're putting profits over safety. What that means is let the consumer who doesn't get a recall deal with the defect.
You know those exploding Takata airbags? They started out as a regional recall in only a small handful of states. It wasn't until after people in other states started getting seriously hurt and even killed by them that the recall was finally expanded to cover nearly 70 million vehicles across the country.
People should not die from defects just to save the auto companies the cost of doing a national recall.
Ditlow, the head of the Center for Auto Safety, blames the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the federal agency that oversees vehicle recalls. He says NHTSA has gotten too cozy with the auto industry and lets automakers get away too often with limiting the size and scope of their recalls. And while we found quite a few reports of these regional recalls, NHTSA told us they couldn't tell us exactly how many there have been because they don't track that sort of thing.
It's what's left of what was on there.
What we do know is that most regional recalls are for problems caused by corrosion. Automakers maintain the corrosion is caused by road salt.
As far as I know, everyone around here uses salt.
And while many Tennessee communities, including the Lawlers' hometown of Cookeville, typically go through an entire barn of salt like this every winter, NHTSA does not consider Tennessee a so-called salt state. So those regional recalls for corrosion-related problems don't apply to vehicles here. Are you surprised we're not a salt state?
Yes, I am. You would think we would be.
We're not in a salt state, but yet it still happened to us.
Vianne believes if she'd been going any faster when the suspension arm broke, she or someone else could have been seriously hurt, or worse.
If I had lost control on the interstate, I never would have found out what really happened.
Now the Lawlers wonder how many others in Tennessee are driving cars with defective parts, and why NHTSA isn't doing more to protect drivers and their passengers here.
It's just stupid. I mean, they need to do something about it before somebody dies.
Automakers are supposed to pay for repairs, even for vehicles outside the salt states, but the Lawlers say Chrysler has repeatedly refused to pay to fix Vianne's car because she lives in Tennessee. But when I talked to NHTSA late this afternoon, they say that's not supposed to happen. They should be fixing it. They're going to look into it, they told me. But they also said they couldn't tell me whether Chrysler would face any sort of punishment or penalties because of this. Now, if you'd like to find out whether your car is covered by or involved in any of these recalls, we've got a link on our website. Just go there and you can look it up.
Looking at it right now, as a matter of fact. It's amazing information. Hope you stay on the story, Jennifer. Thank you.